Hey everybody, hope all is well. Today, essentially, we're going to be going over a case study on how we took a client from $0 per month, absolutely brand new offer, to over $40,000 in cash collected within a 24-hour period. So, with that said, guys, we're about to jump straight into it. But before we begin, I am here with my main man, Salman. How are you today?
I'm great. Alhamdulillah. I appreciate the little shout out, man. Yeah. You want to talk about our roles quickly and then just
Yeah,
jump in?
just jump into it, man.
Basically, I came in as a copy slash content strategist and copywriter for this project. We just came in, ran, needed some insights on what we could do better. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. Just describing like my part of the things. And Ryan, what did you necessarily do too?
What did we not do, dude? Like, what did we not do? We were dabbling in everything, right?
Yeah.
So, um, while we go through this case study, I feel like it'll be a little bit more prevalent in terms of like where, um, what we were actually doing in terms of like where we more so like where our skills were highlighted throughout this entire process. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen just so we can jump into the Miro board. But yeah, so how we took a client from $0 per month, absolutely brand new offer, right? They've never ran an info product before in their life, to over $24,000. So there are often a bunch of common problems in info products. Salman, go ahead and tell me some of the often like common problems you see in info product, my man.
I say the biggest thing, this is something in the creator economy I've noticed. Um, People typically have like a small following, they build up to 10,000 followers, and then they automatically want to monetize the audience, which is great. Some want to do courses, some want to do e-com, some want to do other methods like affiliate marketing. But for this client, I knew that he wanted to do an offer slash program. And the main issue for him, and you can agree with me, he lacked the technical and the strategy for info product and how to do it properly. The guy didn't even like have an offer. He just said, I wanted to sell a course, right? So we talked about that. And then that was like just the main issue I've seen with him.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, in his specific case, there was a bunch of little tiny nuance issues, not necessarily issues, but just nuances to his scenario where, for example, he had an extremely small top of funnel audience, right? Where we put out a wait list, opt-in wait list, and within, a month's time, only 400 people, less than 400 people opted in. Uh, he didn't really know what to offer in terms of developing his upsells or his value ladder in general. That's something we had to walk him through. Alongside, he really did not like traditional direct response copy. So what we had to do is go ahead and um, merge essentially his branded copy, the way he talks to his audience in a specific manner, with direct response principles. He also wanted to do something very unique, which I don't see too often, especially in the info product space, is limited time only program. So you can only get access to the program for X amount of time. After that, it closes, right? And he's not really about false scarcity. He doesn't like to push false scarcity. So he really did close it after a 36-hour window, and we'll touch a little bit more after that on why we did 36 hours instead of 24. And after that, it was essentially just him letting go, right? I mean, we've ran his ecom offer. I ran his ecom offer, and by ecom offer like for his brand, right? And he had no trouble with that. However, since this was like a brand new business and he had a specific way he talks to his audience, it was very difficult for him to let go. So it was meeting him where he was at from a technical aspect, right? Like marketing, back end, building out his funnels. Like that part was the easy part, right? But meeting him where he was at in terms of him having difficulty letting go with this brand new project is where we had to merge the skills of marketing and making sure the client was comfortable for this launch to be genuinely successful, because there was a lot more nuance than just running up
Mm.
numbers, right? It was making sure he was comfortable throughout the process too. And part of that was the content strategy, making sure he was comfortable with posting, the type of content he posted, etc. So Salman, go ahead and talk a little bit about the organic strategy and the content strategy.
I appreciate the takeaway. Basically, we broke it down to three stages for when it came to content. The first stage was just an announcement. It was really self-explanatory, but we just revealed that we're offering a course, and we just directed him to showcase his house, this and that, just do a little social proof. And then the main CTA for that announcement post was, "Hey, we have an opt-in page. Please sign up. Right? If you really are interested in buying this program, sign up." And one of the bonus tips I'll give to anybody that are doing opt-in pages, and I personally have seen worked out for us in this case, discuss the price. Like, be like, "Hey, if you're comfortable buying this course for $1,000, sign up to the opt-in page. If not, no." Right? Very simple. Stage two, we just built anticipation. Right? We just want a lot of excitement. Like, people just excited for this stage. Aside from this was like the biggest stage. This is where majority of the bulk was in. We did like four posts talking about his journey, his pain points, the highlight of his life, the fact that ecom made him successful and how it can make you successful, and then just building up a lot of social proof. And then the ground launch was really just one post. Sorry, two posts. It was an announcement of the course being live and that you only have 24 hours left, right? So a reminder and a launch post. It was really just a last chance for the second last post. I mean, for the last post, it was a second chance, which is reminding the audience that they only have 36 hours to buy. Sorry, 24 hours. But then we extended it for another, what, 12?
12 hours. Yeah, he said a lot of people were blowing up his DMs because they didn't have the opportunity to buy. When he was showing me the DMs, like some people talking about their family in the hospital and things of that nature, and I'm like, they really wanted that course, huh? Um, Jokes aside, though, um, VSL strategy. So, what was interesting is in terms of VSLs, he didn't necessarily really want to VSL at first. We had to talk him into it. And what we also did, which was pretty interesting, is we had a VSL on both our cross sell pages and our primary landing page. So take us through the thought process on why we went ahead and had a VSL on both the cross sell pages and our primary landing pages, and what the purposes of those were.
Uh, I'll just talk about, before I even break down the structure, why we did it. The VSL is just easier to help your viewer understand that this program is like a solution towards their pain points. It's easier to get conversions higher. For the VSL, he didn't want to do it like Rand said, but we're able to just nug him in and be like, "Hey, it'll be short, but I highly recommend you get a VSL. I think their people are going to really like it." And they're already used to the fact that he had a visual aspect of his things, right? Like the guy ran video content for his Instagram, and I'm pretty sure his Facebook too. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, just for social platforms in general.
Yeah. So we did the VSL on that, and then typically we did a short VSL on upsell pages to build a little bit more excitement for it and to really like sell the value of the upsells. So I know for upsell one, it was a coaching call with him, and then upsell two was the influencer list. We didn't do any upsells, any downsell VSLs, due to the fact that we're downselling, and typically they might not want to watch it. But yeah,
Bless you.
that's just thank you. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Uh, Aside from that, basically the next thing for this VSL strategy was, I'm just gonna break down the structure, right? We did the hook, we did the pain points and structures, the struggles, we did the social proof, we did the features and benefits, and then we did the CTA. Very simple, very effective. For the hook, we kind of downplayed his results. The guy makes over 100,000 plus a month, um, but the issue about that is if you tell your viewers that, they might not believe it due to the fact that they live in a different world. I blame Money Twitter because nothing makes me tinge over like the 6 figure a month mark, right? Am I wrong, Rand? Like you get that, right?
Yeah,
Either
100%.
way, we just did that, and then we also really wanted to sell some other benefits of the hook, right? By anywhere in the world, by running an ecom brand. We're trying to sell the fact that the ecom brand is the solution, and in 2023, it just adds a little bit of proof that it's a viable model in this year. Aside from that, got the attention of the viewer. That was the main thing for the hook. For the second part, it was just discussing the pain points and struggles, right? His whole journey, talking about how he had lived a really painful, repetitive life, how he failed at a lot of online ventures, and then e-commerce was the solution to all of it, right? And how his 2 year journey, how he became a millionaire, bought his house, helped his mom out, helped his girlfriend out, helped his own friends out, right? Like a really inspiring story. But we had to talk about the pain points and struggles that he went through that we know our audience is probably going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Social
I
proof was
mean,
pretty.
the
Mhm.
traditional ecom story, right? The traditional ecom guru story.
Yeah. Oh, I was broke. I was a brokey, this and that. Now I'm a rich, eight-figure multimillionaire. Like the whole story, the whole shebang. And then flexing the
100%.
Audis, the cars, the G wagon. You know what I mean? But for that's actually the third point. We try to make sure that we talked about the social proof. Obviously we discussed like the tangible products that he got, which is like the house, the car. You know what I mean? All that nice stuff. But legitimate proof was really important for the social proof aspect, right? Showcasing his Shopify numbers, showcasing his inventory, showcasing his like 3PL, right? That was something that was really big when it came to the social proof. Step four was really simple. We just discussed the features and benefits of the course. I talked about, hey, if you buy the course, you'll get A, B, and C. This is where direct response came in, and we made sure to put it in bullet points to really sell out the features of it. And then for the benefits, it was just a sentence or two talking about how you can get time, location, and financial freedom. And the CTA was really simple. It was just very specific. You want to drive action and conversions. The main thing we said was, yo, the time's clicking. Like you only got 24 hours. And this is the cheapest my course will ever be. So I highly recommend you buy it. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it really worked out for us with the VSL.
100%, dude. So it is 1:15 and we are on short time. So let's go ahead and bust through this.
Okay.
We'll be putting this in a value doc either way, so like they can go ahead and read through this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like the email and newsletter strategy, email and SMS, since we both handled a bit of both. Go ahead and just take us through that real quick.
I can go through email, and then I want you really to dive in SMS because that was the main thing that helped a lot with this too, right? For email, it was just making sure that we did a proper email sequence. Originally, I just did a 6 email soap opera, just talking about his journey, why ecom is very successful, why it's actually something that you can actually sell, just simple stuff like that, and just talking about it in a storytelling method that connects with our audience, just making sure that it aligns with us, right? The second
Mm-hmm.
thing we also did was selling the dream and journey. Now, for me, and this is just me as a copywriter, my main writing style is always selling logical, if that makes sense. Like selling the benefits, the features, and then selling it in a more logic based thing. Maybe that's due to the fact that I avoid kind of like the biz ops side of things and more like the B2B. But with this client's audience, we had to sell the dream. Like, am I wrong, Ran?
No, no.
So
You
I
did.
did like I did some simple market research. I was just looking through the comment section. Like you click on the profiles. These are people that don't care about like the logistics of running a successful e-commerce brand. These are people that are looking for a viable business model and opportunity to make money online. It could be
Mm-hmm.
e-com, it could be affiliates, it could be anything in the world. So I decided to just really sell the dream. But the third step was also just enhancing it, right? Making sure that we also bring a little bit of reality back towards them. We don't want to sell it to the point where it seems too unrealistic. So the main thing I kept telling them was, by the way, yes, you can get $1 million in e-commerce within 2 years like I did, but it took a lot of hard work. And just selling that aspect makes it feel more grounding and inspiring, and at the same time realistic. And then we just introduced it as a solution. So we just continuously talked about how ecom was different from all the different business models he did and how he failed at that. It just talked about the testimonials, stuff like that from the media and like other like big pages on Instagram supporting him. And then basically like we had a conclusion. Like the last 2 emails was just, hey, look, like I'm about to launch my course. You've seen my journey. You followed the emails. If you don't buy, like you're about to miss out. Like this is your last chance to change your life like the way I did. And you can talk about that too, Ryan, on the SMS side of things.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of SMS was fairly simple, similar. Like we can go super in depth in terms of the nuance of SMS, but
Okay.
for the sake of this case study video, SMS followed a very similar structure to email. However, we really just leveraged SMS at the very end, like roughly prior, like 2 weeks or a week prior to launch. Just letting them get used to us sending them SMSs, and we were definitely not spamming them. I'm a less is more type of person with SMS. I know some people disagree with that. However, I believe SMS is really, really powerful. Essentially, during the last touch points, just due to the fact it's a little bit more of an intimate platform than email. Sorry, notification.
All
Uh,
right. Take away
so
from. I wanted you to take away from the high strategy side of things because that's your main focus for sure. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah,
think you
yeah.
really excelled at.
Yeah. So in terms of the strategy, I think it was fairly orthodox. If you come from an econ background like I did, it's just like a product launch, right? It's just like, give people what they want on a certain date and let them know what the nuances of the actual launch is, right? What's your offer? So it was fairly orthodox launch. However, there were some, like you see here, there were some major foundational issues within the strategy. For example, client hit us up like, hey, look, I want to do X launch. I want to do X amount of numbers. I want to do X numbers. I mean, less than 10,000 followers, email list less than 400 plus people, and, wanted to hit over six figures within a 24-hour period. So expectation here was really, really big. Expectation setting was really, really big here because I couldn't tell the client for sure we're going to hit six figures at launch with less than 10,000 followers. It's something that's incomprehensible, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, unless you're selling freaking software and you're engineering software or some shit. But he was very against running ads, right? He wanted to have this be strictly organic, not even retargeting. The only retargeting he said he was going to be doing is story posts, right? Meaning he's going to just post stories, just reminding people of his primary post on his page.
IG Live too. Yeah.
Yeah, IG Live as well. What else did he want? We were thinking about webinars, but we didn't think it was a high enough ticket for that, and he didn't really want to charge too much. So we didn't want to add friction to the sales process, because I think webinars make a little bit more sense when you have a little bit of a higher ticket offer. No reason to get people to jump through multiple hoops just for them to purchase a low ticket offer, or a offer I wouldn't necessarily consider high ticket in the info product space. And then from there, we just had to develop and refine his primary offer, his upsells and his downsells, his cross sells, etc. Right? So in terms of the strategy, high level strategy, it was fairly straightforward. It was nothing crazy, right? It was just, nurturing the audience with email and SMS and his social media, putting up that wait list, letting them know. And what Salman mentioned earlier, what was interesting is what we did on this wait list is we let them know upfront, like, hey, look, and we had a VSL on the opt-in page as well. Hey, look, the waitlist page. Hey, look, this course is going to be X amount, right? Or 2 payments of X amount. So we just told them the price up front, and we made sure to put it in the copy. So everyone who opted in went in knowing how much the course would be costing, right? And since this was a little bit of a lower ticket program, and I didn't believe the selling wouldn't have been the hard part, right? We went ahead and opted for that, and I believe it really, really turned out well, just due to the fact our conversion rates were fairly high, given the size of our email list of less than 400 people. So offer development, like, we can go super heavy into this. It is 1:22. We are short on time, but as I said, I mean, primary offer, it's just his social media for the past 2 years. He's documented everything. So if you guys run an info product offer right now and you're a creator or a coach, make sure you can document everything, because whether or not you know it, people are following your story and they're following your journey. So having this journey that you can show on your social media for the past 2 years, for example, like Iman Gaji, makes it a perfect segue how you can go from zero to hero, right? People believe in his story due to the fact he has the receipts. So if you can, make sure to go ahead and record that content and just post it so people can follow you along your journey, right? If you ever plan on selling info product, because that just supported his claims, right? We would even put his social media redirect during an email. We would redirect them back to his social media, right? Because they would always stay in our ecosystem. If we didn't have necessarily a CTA, the CTA would just be like, go back to my social media page. And from there, it was just about asking the right questions, figuring out what motivated them to buy. Like Salman said earlier, message mapping, and just doing market research, just reading the comments. And the comments are hilarious if you read them. Like, it's
They're crazy. They're
dude. Yeah, it's freaking funny. However, course positioning, it was I say course positioning, but it's more so offer positioning, because all he wanted to do is sell his program. He didn't really know what he wanted to offer in that program, right? So it was more so just selling to their pain points, right? So Salman did research, figure out what the pain points were. I went through CT. I'm not gonna say his full name, but I went through his DMs as well. I probably should blur that out as well. But I went through his DMs as well, and we were seeing what the pain points were, what the issues were, and how people were wanting to hop on one-on-one calls with him, etc. So that really helped us in terms of like developing his offers, especially his upsells, because people were asking like, what influencers are you using to promote? Can we hop on a one-on-one call? Okay, cool. If people are already asking for this, let's just put this in our upsells or our cross sells. Like, why make this difficult? People are already asking for this at mass scale, so let's just use that, right? No need to reinvent
Mm-hmm.
the wheel. So
Mm-hmm.
um, we can go really heavy into this. However, this would make this case study really long, right? Like our value ladder breakdown, right?
It's
The
insane.
value ladder, how we came up with the initial ideas and how we if we're for or against the ideas, how we had upsells, cross sells, our downsell offers, how we created a mini tripwire funnel within our downsell offers. Right here, go ahead when we share this value doc to you guys. Make sure to go over this because this is a nugget where we created or where you can create yourself a tripwire funnel within the downsell strategy, right? So the way you position the cross sells and upsells prior to your downsells can really affect the conversions of your downsells. So, which is why it's a tripwire. You just go through this, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You cooked with that one.
Yeah, the tripwire funnel or the tripwire downsell part of the funnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something I don't see people talking about because it's just a psychological game, right? Everything is just psychology. And if we're able to apply a principle we use, in general, right? Like a tripwire funnel, why not just apply that on a smaller scale to the downsell aspect, right?
That's due to your
Uh,
econ experience too, right?
I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, once you start studying different business models, then like you just start snatching principles from everywhere. So technical problems. You wanna go over technical problems?
Sure thing. We had a few. We had a few. I'll be honest with you. He had a new business. He had a new business, so the main thing I would say was like the payment processors, and then like having multiple. I know if we did a super big launch the first day, Stripe would be a pain in the ass. Time
Dude,
and time again, anybody
you
in
know
the
what
space.
Stripe did?
What?
Stripe messaged us saying, we're not refunding anyone, but due to you being high risk, we're closing down your Stripe account within by X date, right? Um, and then we're talking about it on the call with the client. He was like, okay, so if I'm high risk, why didn't they just refund everybody? Why are they not refunding anyone but like closing down my account? Like it doesn't make sense. So we're gonna have to try to appeal that. But like, dude, these
It
payment
was
processors like don't make
It's
any
so
sense.
painful. I highly
Yeah.
recommend if you're in any business model that has a lot of cash flow at a fast pace, have multiple, man. Have like at least three or four on deck, so that way you don't have to ever stress about that. Hopefully that you do that. Brand versus direct response copy. Again, like I'm a direct response copywriter. So one of the biggest issues that I personally kind of felt was like the hardest issue was like adding direct response principles towards what the line wanted for his copy, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
I remember I wrote some it wasn't not really aggressive copy, it was just more or less targeted the pay points, and the client was like, hey, could we soften this and that, or hey, I don't think this would convert the best, this and that, or like it wasn't even that, it was like smaller issues. Like, do you
Yeah.
remember one of them?
Yeah. I mean, I don't not off the top of my head right now. Or for example, like I mean, the nuances I don't think really matter of it, but like
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, hey, I don't want this word, or this is not how I talk to my audience. And I
Yeah,
mean, understandably so, right? Like he
of
wants it
course.
to be on tone. If he doesn't feel like it's on tone, then like it defeats the purpose, right?
Exactly. So the main way that I personally solve this issue with my copywriting is just adding direct response principles, pain points, targeting bullet points, stuff like that, upselling, right? It was just adding the principles of direct response with the client's tone, which is something that
Mm-hmm.
every copywriter should always do. We had some high risk claims. Again, we already talked about that. That's a painful thing. Twilio was an issue. Rand, would
Yeah.
you like to talk to them about
No,
how
no,
we
no. Yeah, yeah. I'm not. We're not going over how we solved the Twilio issue here, but
Yo, we got
yeah, yeah.
just
Let's
know
not
we
go
got
over
shit
that.
done. We got shit
Yeah,
done.
whatever needs to get
Um,
done gets done.
basically, aside from that, another issue is the client wanted ClickFunnels 1.0. That's a
Which is
whole
so
story on
clunky.
itself. It
Yeah.
was clunky. I remember like there's a whole night just trying to fix up the funnels, and it was just like there's smaller issues. It wouldn't look like the design, and then you have to connect it to the domain, and as soon as you connect it to the domain, it worked.
Hmm.
There's small issues like that, but also ConvertKit. We did a integration with ClickFunnels to ConvertKit, and for some reason, it would take a day to process all the people that would sign up, right? So we'd have
Yeah.
to like do a few resends, stuff like that. The last issue we had was just setting up like buy now, pay later, right?
Bro, it,
And that
it didn't
was
even set up, dude. Like we were talking to like maybe we're on short notice when the client came to me about launching this. Um
less than a
and
month.
yeah, like roughly right about yeah, less than a month. And we're like, okay, we need to start getting these payment aggregators and gateways like on point now. So for a whole month, we were talking to a bunch of these different like he was talking to a bunch of different companies, his banks, his banker was trying to pitch him on their payment aggregator solution for the longest time. We were trying to get on authorized.net, like all these different issues, and we're like, hey, look, we may do X amount in a certain amount of time. Can you like, would you guys be able to provide support if we do these numbers within a 24-hour period, what we were projecting, right? And um, they said, sorry, we can't, right? Even though he has history of, processing over like 250 $1,000 in terms of sales in a month. Like he already has a relation with these aggregators. So it was really frustrating. However, at the end of the day, we just opted in for Stripe, and like buy now, pay later payment aggregators. Like we had no success because there was a 2 payment option plan. So what we ended up having to do was lock half of the course, and the course was hosted on ClickFunnels. Lock half of the course, and the client pays 2 payments over Stripe. And the course is locked for 30 days, the second half of the course, until they pay the second half on Stripe. If they don't pay that, they will never get access to the second half of the course, right? So, I mean, we had to make do with what we had. So, in terms of account receivables, we actually made up probably teetering $50,000 upwards of there, something around that.
When
I
it's all
forgot
said and done,
exactly the
right?
number. Yeah, and in terms of results, dude, I mean, we have them right here, right? Like during the first 48 hours, during the first 36 hours, and then within the first 24, right? 20th. I don't even think this is a full 24, right? 20th to 20th.
And we
Um,
also have to talk about the receivables and stuff like that. We hit
yeah,
40K the first day technically, but the payments
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
come through.
yeah. Definitely by accounts receivables. We definitely did over 40 within the first like 20th to 21st, like over 40K within the first 36 hours, or even 24 hours if we including account receivables. So essentially, that is how we took a client. And there's a lot of nuances that we left out, which we'll probably be providing in our value doc. However, I mean, that's how we took a client from zero to hero. Essentially, nothing. Didn't even know what they wanted to offer to $40,000 within a 24-hour period. So, with that said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, and want to know how we went over this a little bit more in nuance, feel free to reach out to Salman or me. Salman, any final words, man?
If you guys are ever interested in building or monetizing your audiences, just hit me up on Twitter. My website's about to be live in a week or so. I think it will be
Mm-hmm.
less. And then, Rian, what's your primary offer right now?
Yeah, just hit me up, guys. Whatever you guys need, hit me up. Nah, but jokes aside, um, right now we are dabbling in info product. We don't take on everyone for info product. We actually super strict in terms of criteria for our info product. If we're bringing someone on for info product, but right now we just focus on retention, right? So email, SMS for ecom brands, and that is my primary core offering right now. So appreciate you, Mr. Content Killer. Uh, Again, it was a pleasure. I genuinely look forward to running up this upcoming project with you as well, my man. Appreciate you a lot.
Inshallah, brother. Inshallah. And I'm very excited as well. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Bye bye.
Take care, my man.